Not here we are. That's right. Gordon, are you there? We have just finished episode 9, and Gordon is going to join us after recording, and he's disappeared from this live feed, which is always difficult when you get no one watching. But in recording, where is he? Gordon Dundas, are you there? We will end broadcast. Oh no, here he's come back. Gordon Dundas, there he is. Are you listening? Are you hearing?
Yeah, are we live?
Yes, I've been holding fort.
How are you?
Well, that was, whew, I have to say, you must be tired. That was a definitive look at the American bourbon industry and whiskey industry in general. I have to admit, Gordon, I've never been to America. I had a small knowledge of the industry, but that was how you retain that knowledge up there. It's good. It could be quite sad in a way.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to have spent a lot of time there, so you learn from the experts, and I'm interested in it. I love it as much as I love, all whiskies, and obviously being Scottish, I've got a slight leaning towards Scotch, but there's some great people out there that are very good friends of mine. And
well, on that point, Gordon, you brought to the episodes that we've just finished recording, you brought a Mr. Preston Van Winkle. What a name. That's an iconic name in the industry.
What a great name. Yeah. I mean, the only time I ever heard that name, I mean, it's a well-known name, but actually was, so there was a pop star in the 1990s who, I forgot his actual name, but his
real name was Van Winkle.
His real name was Van Winkle, but his pop star name was, God, I can't remember now. No relation though.
That's a good question. Even if somebody's watching this, that's quite a nice one to get researching. I will.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to look it up. Sorry.
So that was our episode 9. Gordon had a chat with Preston Van Winkle, and before and after with a real just.
There it is. You know who it was? Vanilla Ice.
Oh, Ice baby.
Yeah.
It's called Van Winkle.
He's a Van Winkle. But I don't think, as far as I know, he's no relation to our Van Winkles who are with us today. So, I met the Van Winkles, obviously, when I was out in Kentucky. And we work with them pretty closely on Whiskey Magazine and Whiskey Lives around the world and things like that. But they've always been in that position. They pretty much sold everything they've got. So, and then it's become really premium since then. So a fantastic guy, great, and his father's hilarious too, Julian. And I think he's got three twin sisters or something. So yeah, great family. And so, it was nice to catch up with
that was good.
Preston.
That was great. And if you want to learn a little bit about American whiskey, from a standing start, you could do no worse than having to listen to episode 9. And I was just, happily trying to listen and learn all the different categories, how it's made, some of the best examples out there. And even, Gordon, if you're putting together a little American whiskey themed night, you put together a list for us, including cowboy hat. Well, I'll not say too much, but it was.
It's just a bit of fun. It's a bit of fun. If you're going to get into, if you don't drink bourbon, and and you've never really drunk it, go and buy 3 or 4 bourbons. They're not that expensive. Go and look at the reviews. Go and buy some great bourbons. Even what's the difference between Jack Daniels and Jim Beam? Which do you prefer? It's a big debate in whiskey. These are big brands, though. There's some really interesting smaller brands. One of my best bourbons I've ever had, and I know a lot of my friends love it, is a bourbon called Booker's, which is actually produced by Kate. That says Katie Muggeridge on the phone. Wanting to talk not about bourbon, I would imagine.
Maybe she's on the phone because you are talking about bourbon.
Yeah, probably. What are you doing? Is Booker's, which is, it comes out in small batches, like 64% alcohol when it's bottled. So really, really great bourbons, but hard to get a hold of. So there's a whole, you can go from a bourbon at 40% to up to 65%. Some of those Van Winkles are very high as well, because actually in bourbon land, I didn't even mention this, when you mature, depending on where you mature in warehouses and temperatures, it's the water that evaporates, so the alcohol strength goes up.
Which
over time.
People used to call, or do call, the devil's cut. We have the angel share. Some people call that the devil's cut. you know,
absolutely, yeah.
So that's a very interesting. I really enjoyed that episode, Gordon. I've never been to America, but that has made me want to go.
You need to go. Have you never been to America? They would love you, Gordon.
Oh, Neil Diamond. I've been saying yes, Neil. I will come to America.
You have actually never been to America.
I've never been to across the pond. I've you know.
Well, maybe next year when we get back to normal, we've got an assignment for you.
Right. Streets of San Francisco. I used to watch all the time, so I know
Inside New York.
I know New York inside out. Die Hard 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Just do Kojak and
where would you want to go in the States?
Pop shows. Well, you did, I think, a little tour a few episodes ago. Was it last series about jumping between cities for whiskey? So,
top 5 things you want to do in the States. What's the top 5 things you want to do?
I'd love to see the sun. I'd love to go down south. I'd love to
see the sun.
The sun.
Right.
Florida Keys, something like that.
Oh, been there. Been to Key West.
I'd love to see Key West. One of my favourite movies of all time is Key Largo with Edward G. And then the West Coast, that holds a
whereabouts?
I love wine. So anywhere up the West Coast, anywhere Sausalito and the
what's that film
Napa?
about the wine in?
I was just trying to think about that. That will come to me.
Great film.
And then, of course, New York, the iconic. I love to see New York. And the middle would be quite interesting as well.
Chicago's a great town. Got some friends that I speak to regularly live in Chicago. Great town. There's some great bits in the middle. I mean, I've not spent a lot of time in the middle of America. I've been to Kentucky a lot.
Oh, yes, of course.
I haven't really been anywhere else in that sort of middle area, if I'm honest. I've pretty much been to New York, Miami, Chicago, Atlanta briefly, which is a little bit more in the middle, and then really down into Texas and then California and up to Seattle as well. I've not done any of the rest of it. There's so much to do.
Of course, with my second name, Gordon, I might be welcomed as a long-lost son if I go to Texas.
Well, what I did do when I went to Dallas is I didn't go to South Fork, obviously. But what I did do, because I have a fascination with the murder of JFK.
I
don't know why. I've always been really interested in the grassy knoll and so when I was in Dallas 2 years ago on my phone, I videoed going down Daly Plaza in the car. I was in a car and I had the rep beside me and we're going down Daly. So we literally drove down the road where JFK was shot, and I sort of went over to the grassy knoll. And then we went down where the book depository was up behind us and down under the bridge. And I've got that video because I just love that whole thing. And there was that whole wonderful story about the woman in the thing, who never flinched, never had she was a bit dodgy. There was a lot of dodgy things going on that day. Anyway,
I can see I can see a Splinter podcast coming.
Conspiracy theories while drinking whiskey.
Yes, that's it.
Well, that's a great one. And they only get more bizarre the more whiskey you drink.
Can I just mention, Gordon? I just found something out. You just mentioned about South Fork and about Dallas. Only this week, I got some communication. If you go to the Glengoyne website, I wrote an article about the excise man's house and about the last excise man, Bob Thompson, left in 1980. Well, his son and daughter have read the article and sent in some extra details about that house. Very interesting. And the daughter, Katrina, although I'm going to meet up with her in the new year when it's all hopefully opened up, said that she remembers cast members from Dallas coming to visit Glengoyne.
Sue Ellen, Bobby.
Could have been.
Bobby could have gone and seen the Bobby Mill.
So we had maybe could have been JR, could have been, yes. Bobby would have, had a shower and woke up 3 years later. I don't know what happened, but there you go. I only found that out this week.
There you go. That's amazing.
That's on that bombshell.
And we have. That is amazing. We are the gift that keeps on giving, aren't we?
I know exactly. So if anybody's listening to this little extended YouTube podcast stroke video that was meant to last a minute, where are we now?
Only 9 minutes. Brilliant.
We can head to iTunes, Alexa.
When's it out? Episode 9?
Episode 9 will be out on Monday, which is 16th of.
I would imagine it'll be out middle of the afternoon, Monday, the 16th
of November. God bless you.
Excellent. Great.
That was wonderful.
You.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.